The 9th century was a time of iron, salt, and blood, a world where survival meant strength and a man's worth was measured by his sword. Into this harsh world, Ivar, son of the legendary Ragnar Lothbrok, was born. Unlike his father, Ivar was not famed for physical might, but for a mind as sharp as any blade. He would command one of the largest armies of his era, his name echoing in fear across Britain and Ireland. Ivar's story is not just one of conquest, but of willpower overcoming the body's limits. In the cold, wind-swept lands of Scandinavia, long ships lined the shores, their crews forged by hardship and ambition. This was a society that prized courage, loyalty, and glory won in battle. Yet Ivar was different from the start. The sagas describe a man who could not walk, carried into battle on a shield, a king observing war from a throne. In a world obsessed with strength, such a condition could have doomed him. But Ivar's mind saw patterns in chaos, understood fear, and mastered the dance of diplomacy and force. His brothers were the dynasty's muscle. Ivar was its calculating brain. The kingdoms of England and Ireland were ripe for more than just raids. They were opportunities for something greater. Ivar envisioned not just plunder, but permanent conquest, Viking kingdoms on foreign soil. He was about to unleash a storm that would change the destiny of the British Isles forever. The name Ivar the Boneless has puzzled historians for centuries. Norse sagas claim he was born with gristle instead of bones, a cursed child, carried everywhere, yet unmatched in cunning. Modern theories suggest he may have suffered from brittle bone disease, or perhaps the nickname was metaphorical, referring to his flexibility, impotence, or serpentine cunning. The Anglo-Saxon Chronicle simply calls him Ivar. The boneless epithet appears only in later sagas. Whether literal or symbolic, the name highlights his paradox. A leader defined by vulnerability, yet wielding immense power. His achievements are all the more extraordinary for it. The true origin of the name may be lost, but its legacy endures. Ivar's legend is inseparable from the mystery of his body and mind. In 865, a vast Viking fleet landed in East Anglia, not to raid, but to stay. This was the Great Heathen Army, led by Ivar and his brothers, united by a cause vengeance for their father, Ragnar. Unlike chaotic raiders, they were a coalition with a plan. Their first move was negotiation, not battle. They demanded horses, transforming their army into a mobile force. This strategic shift let them strike deep into England. Always on their terms, they built fortified winter camps, exploiting rivalries among English kingdoms. Ivar's genius lay in logistics, mobility, and psychological warfare. The age of sporadic raids was over. Systematic Viking conquest had begun. The Great Heathen Army was not just a weapon, but a tool for reshaping the land. Ivar's vision would change England forever. The Great Heathen Army set its sights on York, the heart of Northumbria. Ivar waited for the perfect moment, when the city was weakened by civil war and religious festivities. The Vikings stormed York on All Saints' Day, seizing it with minimal resistance. Ivar turned enemy division into his greatest weapon, capturing the city through cunning rather than brute force. Months later, the Northumbrian kings united to retake York, breaching its defences. Ivar lured them into the city's narrow streets, a trap. The Vikings counterattacked, slaughtering the enemy and killing both rival kings. The saga claims Ivar executed King Ella with the blood eagle, cementing his reputation for terror. Whether true or not, the story spread fear. York became the capital of a new Viking kingdom, a permanent foothold in England. Ivar's message was clear. Resistance would be crushed, and terror was a weapon. His mastery of timing, intelligence, and psychological warfare set him apart. The conquest of York was not just a victory, it was a turning point. Ivar's tactics would echo through history. The Vikings were no longer just raiders, they were rulers. England would never be the same. The capture of York marked a new era for the Vikings in England. No longer mere raiders, Ivar and his brothers became state builders. They dismantled kingdoms, forced treaties, and executed defiant kings like Edmund of East Anglia. The lands they conquered were settled, not abandoned. Vikings became farmers, and the Danelaw was born. This transformation required administration, taxes, and new laws. Viking customs and language left a permanent mark on English society. Towns like York and Lincoln became hubs of trade and culture. Ivar's vision extended beyond plunder. He was forging a new political reality. The Vikings became a nation-building force, reshaping Britain's destiny. Their presence forced the English to unite, accelerating the birth of a single kingdom. The Danelaw's legacy would endure for centuries. Ivar's strategy changed not just borders, but the very fabric of England. The age of the Viking state had arrived. As his power peaked in England, Ivar turned west to Ireland. He became King of Dublin, ruling alongside his kinsman Amlaíb. Ireland's fractured kingdoms required a new approach. Conquest gave way to alliances, mercenary deals, and betrayals. Ivar excelled at this game, projecting power from Dublin across Ireland and beyond. In 870, he besieged Dumbarton Rock in Scotland, capturing it after months and returning to Dublin with captives and treasure. The Irish chronicles called him King of the Norsemen of all Ireland and Britain, a testament to his ambition. Dublin flourished as a commercial and military hub under his rule. Ivar's maritime kingdom controlled vital trade routes, linking Scandinavia, Britain, and Europe. His adaptability made him a kingmaker and a sea king, ruling from both throne and ship. Ireland was not a retreat, but an expansion of his empire. Ivar's influence would shape the Irish sea world for generations. How did a man with a physical disability command such loyalty from Viking warriors? Ivar's authority came from intellect, not brute strength. His plans brought victory, wealth, and survival, qualities Vikings valued above all. He mastered psychological warfare, using terror as a tool to break enemies before battle began. His reputation for ruthlessness often led towns to surrender without a fight. Elevated above the fray, Ivar directed battles as a supreme strategist. His disability forced him into the role of mastermind, and in that he was unmatched. His men followed not despite his condition, but because his mind delivered results. Ivar the Boneless died in 873, but his legacy endured. In England, the Danelaw became a distinct region, its culture and laws shaped by Viking settlement. The threat from Ivar's conquests forced the English to unite, paving the way for a single kingdom. In Ireland, Ivar's dynasty ruled Dublin and dominated the Irish Sea for generations, blending Norse and Gaelic cultures. His story is a lesson in resilience, leadership born from intellect and willpower, not physical perfection. Ivar proved the sharpest weapon is the mind. He was a strategist, a nation-builder, and a king whose influence shaped Britain and Ireland. Despite being called boneless, his will was pure iron.